Ketan Kaushish is the CEO and the co-founder of Ukko Agro. Their company really utilizes in-field sensors and IoT device and advanced agricultural research work, along with data science and predictive analytics to help farmers make better decisions. This should lead to better utilization of pesticides, water, and nutrients. And of course, you hear it every day, Ketan. We talk about sustainability, and everybody's concerned about sustainability. And of course, farmers are too. Why wouldn't farmers be concerned about sustainability? So, Ketan, we're in spraying season right now. And one of the things that I wanted to lead off with was a question for you around some of the proactive planning prior to the spraying applications. What is it that you guys are working on, and some of the things that you think farmers could maybe put into their into their thinking?
So Rob, great to see you again, and really appreciate this opportunity to be a part of this platform. So when we think about farmers, whether it's a fungicide spray or any kind of a crop input, we're always asking three questions: if the crop input is required, and if yes, then when and where, right? So we're always asking these three questions. When we think about proactive, and since we're talking about sprays, whether that's herbicide or fungicide or insecticide, that's what we are looking at when it comes to proactive, saying, do I need to do a spray? And if yes, then when and where? And we're talking about field specific. We talk, the fact is, farms are getting bigger and bigger. As we look at most of the people on this webinar are from Western Canada. They have when you think about spraying, they're not spraying one or two fields, but they're spraying fields that might be 30, 40, 50 miles apart. So when we call about proactive planning, it's about which field do I need to spray, and then how do I operationalize that spray? If I have a couple of sprays and I have to cover 50 fields, am I going east, west, north, south? And which 4 fields am I spraying today versus tomorrow versus day after? So that's what we call as proactive planning. And just leading off to that and talking a bit about Ukko, that's what our intent is as well, where how can we give farmers a week, 2 weeks of heads up, telling them, do you need to spray or not? And if you need to spray,
how do you do that? How do you do that, Ketan? What is it that you're implementing at Ukko Agro? You're a fairly new company. So what is it that you're bringing to the farmers?
So what we bring to the farmers is that single decision point, right? Which is a single thing saying, field 45, you don't need to spray for us. I'll take the case of canola, or I'll take the case of wheat, because that's a predominant crop in Western Canada, and even as we go down south, is, do you need to spray for your sclerotinia stem a week from now or not? If yes, and which field? And then what we're also doing is we're also helping farmers understand, does it make economic sense for me to spray? You plant your fields at different times. You may plant different varieties. You may get different rainfalls. You may have different risk profiles to your field. So what we're doing is, we're taking all the weather data. We're taking all your data about the crop itself. As we go as deep as even understanding how does your row spacing differ depending on different fields, what variety you've planted. Mm-hmm. Then we would understand what sprays. Have you done a spray? Have you not done a spray? We would understand your microclimatic weather conditions, and we would combine all that with the agronomy side of things and complement that with data science. We would combine all these things to tell farmer, do you need to do a spray or not? And it's an integration of things, right? It's not just saying go do spray, but if your crop is not flowering, no farmer will go do the spray. So we integrate multiple things. We'll do things like we'll predict crop growth stages. The disease model will automatically stop when we're predicting a stage. It will track through, let's take the case of flowering, right? So it will track all the way when your crop is flowering. Once it stops flowering, predicted, the model will stop automatically. So the goal is, if it tell you, it should make economic sense.
So where are you pulling the data from, Ketan, and what are some of the sensors that you'd be tapping into with Ukko?
So today we work with a number of weather station companies. So we have agreements, for example, with Pestle, with Arable. We're getting more devices on board. We're even looking to sign up soil probes. We start working with farm management systems. So the idea is, there is data that you have on the farm. How can we pull that data into our predictive models? There's a platform called Foresight. That's the name of a predictive model platform. How can we plug everything into Foresight and give you an output? And even when we think about an output, Robert, it's farmers already have 4 or 5 or 6 apps on their phone, right? So our goal is not to add another Ukko app. Yes, you could download our app and use it, but in the future, how can we plug it into another platform? If you're using a platform by FCC or Climate Field View, how can we make these outcomes as a part of another platform that you're already using?
Okay, so if I get this correctly, you guys are developing a collection of data from a variety of sources, and then you're using foresight to help determine what the risk level would be, and giving a farmer or an agronomist some sort of an alert. Am I getting that right?
Exactly, that's right.
Okay, all right. So this is an area. I think yesterday I gave a speech where I talked about data collection and algorithms. And if you're cooperating with farmers, in other words, if you had farmers working with you at Ukko Agro or agronomists working with you, you could get better, right? So over time, your algorithm would get better over time.
Absolutely. So these algorithms are learning with every feedback we get, with every data point we get. And what these algorithms are also doing is they're creating local copies. So we might start off with one algorithm, for example, for Alberta. But if we work on 400 fields, there are 400 copies of the algorithms running, one for each field, right? So that's how specific it is getting. And the whole intent behind this is how can we save time? How can we help the agronomist, the farmer, anyone who's scouting the fields more efficient?
Yeah, if you're a retailer and you have hundreds and hundreds of fields, this could be really beneficial for custom application, I would think, as well.
Absolutely. And Rob, the kind of feedback that we're getting from retailers, what you mentioned is the starting point. Now we're getting feedback from a retailer saying, could you give us a 4-week heads up so now we can understand where to place a product, because a retail may have 8 or 9 outlets, right? With that, they can work with the chemical company, make sure that they have the right product at the right time when the farmer needs it.
Well, that's great, Ketan. We're going to let you go. And for everybody listening, this is an example of a Tech Direct partner. Ukko Agro is available for free on AGvisorPRO. So you download AGvisorPRO on your iOS or your Android device, and you punch in Ukko Agro or Ketan, and we'll find you an AGvisorPRO. We can have a chat with you for free. So Ketan, thank you. I'm going to invite you back to the stage later on.